Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, January 4, 2024. Well, that's 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night, Friday the 5th, at around 9 p.m. Eastern. It doesn't seem like it, but this life is kind of a lesson springboard. It's always teaching us what we most need to know. And sometimes it provides us with negative experiences so that we learn how to deepen, soften, and let go. While other times we receive positive experiences so we remember how sacred every breath and heartbeat truly are. Now, if we look closely at our lives, we will notice that there is, and always has been, a constant swinging from a positive to a negative life experience, and then back again. It's like an eternal pendulum swing. Is there for one very divine reason, so that we learn how to be free from both extremes and are forced to discover the deeply creative, all-powerful, manifesting beings that we all truly are. As we naturally grow and mature in this life, we realize that our problems cannot be solved by changing the outer world. We see that our real issues shift by diving into our inner world, reaching towards our true center, where we can clearly see how each problem is an opportunity for greater enlightenment and transformation. And our whole purpose, all of this, is to ascend into higher levels of consciousness. When we accept this as truth, we can let go of playing the role of the hero, victim, or perpetrator in our lives. This enables us to truly enjoy the natural swing of life's pendulum, and we can fall deeper into this enjoyment as long as we continue to breathe. The more deeply we breathe, the more we drop our mind chatter, and the easier it is to connect with the divine consciousness at the center of our being. It is here that we find our real power, choose how we wish to relate, respond to each pendulum swing. Now we can sit back and observe how our mind may try to control the pendulum, avoid it, ignore it, or simply accept it is happening. When we surrender and accept it, we can decide to transcend it completely. Then we are no longer slaves to the good and bad occurrences of this crazy world. Only abiding at the center of our being can we remember that we are the ultimate authority of our reality. This is where our true freedom is. And it becomes obvious that we manifest. Our manifesting is purely determined by where and what we are focusing our attention on. To find everlasting peace with this pendulum, we must learn to trust in it. Life has scheduled in these pivotal extremes so that we stop clinging to it all and learn how to see the grand unfoldment of our soul's journey. Every high and low extreme is designed to crack our hearts and minds wide open so that we surrender to our highest power and know without a doubt that it's possible to manifest anything we want. This great pendulum swing summons our souls to reach all the way inwards until we are living and breathing a spiritual life. We really don't care to have anything less than this. We want it all. It is from rooting ourselves in our spiritual journey that our consciousness blossoms, making each day more amazing than the last. The real growth of our spiritual path in this life comes from feeling into what's uncomfortable. Our pain pushes us to reach deeper inside, so we are beyond the reach of the pendulum swing and can find the silent stillness that is unmoving at the core of our being. Now, this stillness is our real teacher in life. It shows us that happiness is not all about getting what we think we want. It's not about controlling the low swing, remaining in the middle, or staying at the high point. Real happiness comes from knowing we are already truly free. We are free from the ever-changing pendulum in whatever painful extreme it may move into. This freedom feeling is like taking a bath in the eternal fountain of youth, where we naturally recognize our true enlightened nature that always was and will always be beyond it all. How can the eternal self have attachment? It is always pure, untainted, and unattached. It is always opening, experiencing presence. You are pure reality. You are the imperishable self. You were never born. You never did prevail. And you'll never die. You are the one. The all-pervading one. The only work is to just drop into what is, Robert Adams. Why is it that so many of us on this planet believe that we are not powerful? Or when we say, well, we're powerful, it's just surface. It's not deep within us, the deep understanding of that. Supreme, omnipotently powerful, immortal beings that never die. And more of us begin to understand that more and more species on this planet, off this planet, in the planet, have done everything possible to keep our species from knowing who and what it is. Great lengths have been taken throughout the ages to keep us from knowing of who and what we are, to hopefully detach us from ourselves, our true selves, our God selves. And that's not possible. It is an illusion, just like the illusion of separation, to keep us powerless. And it's interesting to know that we are all one. It's like you could look at yourself in the mirror, and the God looking back at you knows that you are the one. This isn't an ego-mind infestation. This is a heart-mind understanding. Because eventually, the civilization will become fully aware and awake. And then it will discover, by its own choosing, that it is the God within the body. That we are all one. That what we look around and see with the eyes that we have with these bodies are reflections, different reflections of each other. And when you go into the heart mind, into the now, and practice, and you stay in deep eternal gratitude, and you're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, these are the avenues to solidify our understanding that we are gods in the body, that we are omnipotently powerful, that it doesn't make any difference what these creatures try to do. We are literally invincible. And we will discover this. And that's what this is all about. For us to wake up and become aware of who and what we really are. And embrace it. And not feel guilty about it. Or don't try to, suppress it. Or, no, that's not true. Little old me. How can I be powerful, omnipotently powerful, supreme, immortal being? Sounds like it's all been made up. That's your ego mind telling you that. And it's the opposite. That's really what you are. It's good to know that we were born to experience an initial clinging to life, yet we were not meant to hold on to this clinging forever. Now, when we are getting wrapped up in the drama of our lives, trapped in a negative emotion or heavy thought pattern, we are just overly identified with our mind. We have forgotten we are more than just a body and ego identity. We are an eternal soul that will live forever. This world is made of energy, information, and intelligence. An intelligence that is always changing. Whenever we get stuck, fixated, or hooked on any one thing, idea, or expectation, we get hooked into the illusion. And this adds extra weight to our pendulum. Our pendulum becomes spring-loaded. And when we hit an extreme, it then catapults back the opposite direction to reach an even further extreme. The only way to transcend this perpetual intensity and annoying repetition is to return to the stillness of the center that is at our core, behind the mind. Now, when we drop deep inside and become super vigilant with our thoughts, we'll be able to see and feel the pendulum swing coming before it actually happens. We notice the mind's preference towards having to have only a positive experience and not a negative one. And again, the more attached we become, the more we suffer in the swing. The next time this occurs, do become aware of the experience without becoming identified with the experience. Become aware of the experience without becoming identified with the experience. For example, mind might say, because this is manifested, now my life is truly good. Or since this just happened, now my life is horrible. This is how the mind gets hooked by the play of life and the divine pendulum swing. Do not get hooked by the judgmental mind. Instead, notice what What was it that hooked you? And trust the momentum will soon swing in the opposite direction the very moment you relax, breathe, and let go. Stop imagining yourself being or doing this or that, and the realization that you are the source and heart of all will dawn on you, Nisargadatta Mirage. Now, for the next 24 hours, I invite you to partake in a little enlightening experiment. Pay attention to your inner pendulum. Dedicate one full day of your life to watching it move. Start with noticing where you think you are at on the pendulum swing right now. Are you at a high point in your life? Down in the dumpsters? Or stuck, flat in the middle? Take one giant step back from your life and welcome a larger perspective on reality. You'll soon see that it doesn't matter so much where your pendulum is temporarily at, yet more importantly, is how you are relating to it, and who you are defining yourself to be from this assessment. The moment-to-moment practice of watching our pendulum will help us discover what it's like to reach our natural enlightened state. Be gentle with yourself on this journey, as it truly requires a completely quiet, open mind to see all of life with clear, non-judgmental eyes. Be aware when you notice yourself judging others or yourself, as this means you're about to get hooked into thinking that you are this one high or low experience. You are not just any one life experience. You are all of them. Remain the detached watcher and calm witnesser as much as you can with your mind, just so that own this greater truth. Then your entire day becomes a journey into liberation. Pendulum will swing on its own from high to low. And as you watch, you always remain free. You can then be free from all insecurity and fear, because you know life's pendulum in time will swing back into security and confidence again and again and again. Have you ever, I'm sure all of us have, one time or another, looking at a sunset just for a second, you forget your separateness. You are the sunset. This is the moment when you feel the beauty of it. But the moment you say that it is a beautiful sunset, you are no longer feeling it. You have come back to your separate, enclosed entity of the ego. Also. We don't realize, isn't it interesting? We don't really realize how precious life is. We all go about our days and our mornings and nights, evenings, day in and day out. We don't look at the fact that, and you ask yourself this, can I absolutely, with no deficit, say that I will awaken tomorrow morning? And you got to be honest with yourself. And you do it through the heart mind, not the ego mind. The heart, not the head. And you're honest with yourself, and you say, can I really guarantee that I will awake in the morning? And our answer is, unanimously, no. So do we have yesterday? No. Do we have tomorrow? No. We never will. What do we have? The now. That's where we end up doing everything. Isn't it amazing that you would think or believe that everybody on the planet would be so highly motivated to devote themselves to themselves in the now? Because they know that the mind chatter will go, ego mind won't be there. Worry, stress, fear, anxiety will not be there. Stress will not be there. So why aren't all of us in the now? Why aren't all of us mastering our ego minds? Because do not believe it. We don't believe it. People are saying they're not going to do it because it's silly. And yet, it is the only way to move into peace permanently, to master the ego mind permanently, to live in joy, bliss, happiness permanently. To embrace all parts of you, good, the bad, and the ugly, fully, without fear, without apprehension. Have you ever been where you're talking with somebody? Might be in person, you might be having dinner, lunch, whatever. And the very next day, you find out that they have left the body. Has that ever happened to you? How do you feel about that? Or, like some of us, we exist long enough in these bodies, then the people that we know just start leaving the body. More and more, your family members leave, and you see more and more people leaving the body. People that you knew, not all of them, but indirectly. And then it dawns on you. How much time do I have left? You ever said that? But so you say, it isn't a big deal. Why would I focus on that? I know eventually I'll leave the body. That's a no-brainer. But why focus on it? No reason to. What do you focus on? I'm focusing on the now. And I say this a lot because it can't be stated enough. Everything could be your last opportunity in this life. Everything. Your last opportunity to love. Your last opportunity to be happy in the body. It's like we seize life. Learning how to open your heart with any person you meet. People are afraid to hug. I mean, it's really crazy. They're afraid to. You walk up to a person. It used to be a long time ago where people would hug and they would do a full body hug. It would be like, you know, the full body next to you, right up against each other. A genuine, loving, from heart center to heart center hug. Hugs are great. You might want to look up a man who years ago wrote a book on hugging, and his name was Leo Buscaglia. I'm sure you'll be able to find his books. Read about his perspective on hugging. We have been desensitized on purpose. It adds to more of our belief of separation. But we really do fear, and I'm not talking about the hugs that people do today, where, you know, if you could get a picture of it, what you do, and you've got the upper body touching ever so lightly, you know, not hugging, not a robust hug, but ever so lightly touching, and, you know, the upper, but the rest of the body is bowed out. This is a total disconnect. Could you ask yourself this during quiet time, or ask the God that you are, could you hug someone for 5 minutes straight? Could you? Or would you allow the ego mind to come in and all the paranoia and worriness and stress and anxiety and uncomfortableness? Why are you uncomfortable hugging, full body hugging somebody for 5 minutes? Because you're uncomfortable with you. Sooner or later, we will move into hugging, attention, interaction, and it won't be through staring at the incessant smartphones. It will be with each other, organic. And as we continue to discover who and what we are, this is going to become more apparent. You would hug everybody. Why? Because they're a part of you. And when you look at people that do get hugs, that haven't had a hug in so long, look at the people in retirement homes. Look at the people in nursing homes. Right? They're pretty much abandoned. You know, like elephants off to a graveyard. Very rarely do they get visitations. I know this. I've witnessed it. And just a hug. It's amazing on the power of hugs. And we learn about ourselves, because if you feel inhibited, worried, embarrassed to actually do a full body hug with somebody, then you are going to have to go within and find out why that is. Because it's a reflection of you. Not them, but you. Oh, I can't hug that person because they'll think I'm being sexual or I'm hitting on them. I'm not kidding you. People have this in their ego minds. People used to ask me a long time ago, when I was a master massage therapist, master means that I've looked at every single application of massage on the planet and have mastered it. That's all that means. And apply it. So I would have people constantly say to me, because I would massage about 99% of the time women. So people would say, how do you do that? They're nude. You know, they're totally vulnerable on a massage table. How do you do that without becoming aroused or anything? Crazy questions. My attitude and my answer to them is because I'm helping their bodies relax. That's it. That's what I do. The other, you know, the connotations of the physicality isn't there. But you see how our society has been bent and twisted for so long. You get a lot of people thinking that way. The only woman I had that was super inhibited, her grandkids had bought her a gift certificate to get a full 1-hour body massage. Well, because of the age that she was raised, she, you know, just wouldn't take her clothes off, which is really difficult to do a full body massage with someone having slip-on and a brassiere on and all of the undergarments that people wore back in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and so on and so forth. But when you experience this, the inhibitions and doubts upon oneself and how we view ourselves, and why I say constantly, be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. It's just, why come down on yourself? Why be hard on yourself? Why ridicule yourself? No reason. You're a god. It doesn't make any sense. And the purpose of these meditations is to free everyone from their ego minds. That's what it's about. When you're freed from the ego mind, which means you've mastered the ego mind. That means that you're heart-minded, you're in the heart-mind. That also means that you have begun to discover that you are a God within that body. Without fear, without apprehension, without derogative energies. Full body hug, a full embrace of the God that you are. Does that make us all messed up? No, it doesn't. We're all on the same path, and it's all experience. We're all experiencing. Our entire civilization, we're experiencing, and we're all one. And we display different facets of each other. Now, most people don't. Fortunately, they don't look at it that way because of where they're at and their beliefs and their conditioning. But eventually, whether it be this lifetime or the next, you will discover this. And since we're talking about it, it's magnificent. Because that's half of this part of the journey. To actually acknowledge it. To be in deep meditation, focused on the breath, listening to your breath, in a fixed position like a statue, in a comfortable position, relaxing the body and letting go, surrendering everything, surrendering your life, everything. And again, this doesn't mean that you're cashing it in and giving it up and leaving the body. It just means you've surrendered it all. We're in these bodies to rediscover the gods we are within them. And many a times we have all been thwarted of that because there are others that wish us not to discover that. Because once we do, they become powerless. Period. Not short term either. They become powerless permanently. Something that you might want to try before you get out of bed each morning. Sit and feel the reality of impermanence. For 10 minutes, 15 minutes, feel how everything is impermanent. Feel this deep truth in your bones. Nothing and no one in this world is going to remain here forever. Let it penetrate your head, heart, gut. This is a very ancient meditation practice. Doing it for 3 weeks in a row will transform your life in the most amazing way. There is a deep emotional and spiritual release when we realize how everything is impermanent. Notice how you become different when you realize everything around you will one day be gone. Do remain aware of the impermanence of everything throughout your day. And you will discover the greatest freedom arising within you. You'll naturally start tapping into your deepest connection to that divine essence, which continues after these bodies that we're in are gone. When this occurs by itself, you will always be appreciating this incredible, deeply eternal loving of existence. Accepting our physical mortality is one of the greatest spiritual practices any of us can take on. And as we embrace the fact that nothing is permanent in this world, a sacred humility takes over. The over-demanding ego is embarrassed as it sees the futility of its super important plans. Only through this humble approach to existence can we find stillness, spiritual freedom, enlightenment. All other non-humble spiritual paths have some sneaky ego still hiding and holding on in the background. Death is the most fierce and deeply penetrating spiritual teacher that we can have. It will not let our ego escape alive. Death will always be waiting around the next corner, ready to wipe out our entire life clean. Death will remove all material possessions from us, all wounds, all people, all of our financial problems and future plans. It is guaranteed that one day everything will be removed from our grasp, no matter how safe we think we are. This truth, this hard truth, will remain perhaps because it has the most profound purpose for our spiritual growth. Death forces us to remain awake. We must choose to always appreciate this human life we are given. We have to find reverence, otherwise we suffer. Knowing how very fragile this life is, we become kind to everything that is alive. By remembering our mortality, we are not so quick to getting angry at our loved ones, nor become distant, judgmental, or critical with them. We tend to forgive everyone who has wronged us more quickly. And we return to loving the real heart and soul connection that we do have. Have you ever noticed with people, with the awareness that death is approaching, we become more gentle on ourselves, instantly dropping any hard, heavy energy that we may be carrying. We tend to deal with any leftover skeletons hiding in our closet and embrace those things we are avoiding. We remember that we came here to heal ourselves. And so we stop protecting our hearts from opening up to others. We become radically honest with ourselves and others because we just never know when it's our turn to go. Do something truly radical this week. Share with those who are still with you today how you honestly feel. May be challenging, yet tell them what is going on inside you. Reveal everything. Clear off your emotional plate. Be free to say anything you cannot speak about or say. You just don't know when your best friend's family member or child will die, do you? Let them know how much you actually love them. Rise above any social games you are playing. Stop being afraid of being ridiculed or getting rejected. Take the risk to celebrate your lives and enjoy your short, precious time here together. We truly don't know when it is going to come to a quick end. But most of us spend our time in worry, stress, fear, and anxiety. Our whole lifetimes. And on top of it, we are truly supremely powerful manifesting beings. You ever notice something? Okay? Maybe you can go back when you were younger, and go back several years, 20, 30 years, if you're in that age area. Man has lost one quality, the quality of zestfulness. And without zest, what is life? Just waiting for death? It can't be anything else. Only with zest do we live. Otherwise, we vegetate. Oh, Sean. How many people have you come across lately that are zestful? Vibrant. Now, there's only one thing we can do to transcend death. Embrace it. With welcoming it fully, you will eventually find your way to real inner peace. Now, this acceptance does not mean to start taking more apathetic actions in your life. This is about finding more reverence in everything. Everything is sacred. When we discover this tremendous appreciation for the simple things, like this breath that is still flowing through our lungs. we will see the fear of living and dying quickly dissolves. When we can fully embrace death, we can totally live life. When we have a deep reverence for life, we naturally take advantage of every moment to feel that we are alive. We finally arrive into this precious now moment of our lives, where the puzzle pieces fit in and everything comes to perfection. We can truly rest here. It is the only place we can let go of it all and fall into resonance with our true spiritual nature. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out.
Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Surrender to self-love. Falling in love with your heart, your soul, your pure essence is the quickest path to freedom. You can move beyond any inner battle by simply letting go of your resistance to love. Release that tight, serious grip that the world has taught you to have on yourself. Open up your floodgates and let self-love pour all over your innermost being. You have anything better planned today? Keep opening your heart. The greatest love is hidden inside that beautiful heart of yours. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here Friday, January 5, 2024, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And around 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within or outside of you.